So first of all, hi. You were probably not expecting this to be how I would officially come out with my next channel update thing, or whatever it is that I normally do with my PlayStation 2 blue screen clips that I have been semi-using for these channel update vids. But I decided I wanted to do something a bit different, and I also basically wanted to give you the clarity of saying that yes, there is a real guy who does basically make, edit, and upload these videos, and also does not use any AI creative influencers to put together these videos. They're pretty much done entirely by hand. And I also wanted to make the point clear in saying that, yes, as you can see behind me, this is a real room, and that to my right is a real microphone. And it is also the one which I have been using now for nearly 3 years. And having just a microphone instead of a headset, it does have its fair share of benefits that also include not having to put so much weight on your head from a gaming headset like I had been doing initially. So you're probably wanting to wonder why I took my break. And there were quite a few reasons for that. The first one is because, well, around May, June time, it normally gets pretty hectic when it comes to my family because, well, we're basically taking holidays and also sorting out birthdays for both my brother and sister. Their birthdays, by the way, are basically days apart from one another. Meanwhile, I basically have to wait until mid to late December to actually reach my birthday, which in some cases does get very frustrating at times, but that's just my opinion. Either way, I wanted to get the point across in saying that, yes, even though I probably do have a weird face, and yes, my hair is a mess, even though I did use a hairbrush to make it less messy, it probably does need washing, to be fair. And a few other bits and bobs I probably need to sort out. The other reason I took my break is because in some cases I have been overworking myself, and at certain points that has been leading me to getting stressed, which is never fun when you're just wanting to do this work for fun and you're not necessarily doing it all the time like some people are. But I should remind you that I do get on with at least a few more things in my outside life, and I do also try to keep myself as healthy as I can be, even if along the way I do get plenty of problems that seem to happen to me pretty much all the time. And this year that problem has mostly been with my right thigh, and the fact that up to this point it has been infected twice, and basically I do have to go in for another hospital appointment to see if whether or not that infection can be popped. or whatever it is they normally do. And this is far from the worst state I have been in when it comes to this thigh infection thing, because there were honestly certain points where the pile I had in my thigh was basically enough of an issue to the point where I was actually struggling to walk. And whilst I know this probably isn't something that happens to a lot of people, basically when it does happen, it almost does feel like you are nursing a broken pelvis. And I certainly think that when I was at my worst in around mid-February up to mid-March, I definitely felt that way. But since then, I have more or less managed to survive the worst of it, and maybe, if I am lucky, this infection in my rear will hopefully be gone. Maybe not in June, but maybe at some point during the summer if I'm lucky, and it somehow doesn't manage to become a nuisance again. But in terms of what game I plan on doing as soon as I get back, well, because I started Simpsons Hit and Run in mid-March, I think it was. Yeah, it was definitely mid-March because it was March the 11th. It's also ironically been 2 months since I started recording this playthrough, but anyway. This is the game we'll be returning to once I get back from my break, which is probably going to be at some point in June. I haven't made a clarification on the date yet, but it will definitely be at some point in June. And as for what games I plan on doing after Hit and Run, I have a good idea on what game it is I want to do next. And it will involve some rallying, because I have noticed that a few of you are quite taken to the idea of watching me do some rallying, and I appreciate that. And of course, to anyone who actually does think that my channel is worth your time and is not just the stereotypical waste of space, then I appreciate that too. I was hoping to maybe see if it was possible to get to 900 subscribers before the end of the year. And I think that is still possible because there is still plenty of time to get to that marker. Initially, I was wanting to see if I could reach 1,000 before year's end, but I think that might be a bit of a reach now, because it's already mid-May, and at this point of the year, we're probably far enough to the point where that's likely not going to happen this year. But if I manage to bounce back somehow next year, then we might get to 1,000 then. And then afterwards we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, I'm basically rambling at this point, so I think I'm gonna end my channel update video here. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave it with a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already and would like to see more from me and my video making lab. And maybe leave a comment down below if you feel entitled to watch my playthroughs and what you think about the games I play, and what you think is best about them, and maybe what's worst about them. But Anyway, yeah. So, thanks for watching this update video, and we will see you again soon.